A little bit of foreshadowing is taking place today as we check out the Gulf of Mexico and also what seems like the entire western half of Canada are giving us a sneak peek into what we are going to see over the next week in the United States as far as significant weather. In fact, we may see 3 of these significant storms all forming and producing within the next 7 days alone. I'm going to do my best to point out the significant locations of what we need to watch and how the beginning phases of these 3 systems are already in place and causing issues even before being considered significant weather. My friends, it is good to see you all on this Monday afternoon. Time to break this all down, and we're going to do it right here, right now. Let's go. My friends, before we get started today, I'm sure a lot of you saw the post on my communities tab. Probably the closest person in my life sadly lost her brother back on the 7th of January. I promised her and her family that I would share this link for Michael and do what I could to help support them. I am very aware that many of us are struggling right now. So for those of you interested, there will be a link posted with this video where you could help Michael and his family during this time of need, which of course is no obligation on you. A simple thought and a prayer will do just as well. But all I ask is anyone who was going to donate to the channel this week, please instead donate to this GoFundMe page, as it will be going to a much more needed cause. I very much appreciate your time in listening to this message, and Michael, may you rest in peace. All right, I appreciate you all getting into this United States weather. I'm sure a lot of you see anomalies right off the bat. I'm going to go ahead and take manual control of this so we can get some details here. But we're seeing 2 distinct situations taking place right now. One of them within the Gulf with the beginning of these big, thick storms off the coast of Texas and Louisiana right now. And you will eventually see that these storms will be leading to a low-pressure system that's going to cross the threshold of Florida and then possibly turn into a snow-producing nor'easter for the Northeast. Now, that is only just a small part of what we're looking at here. We also need to heavily focus on the western edge of Canada, some of the more dense moisture we've seen in a while pouring in from the northwest, which in turn is going to be the cause of another low pressure system that could potentially put almost half our country within a snowstorm. We can follow this low pressure system all the way to the outer banks of the Carolinas, where it becomes almost like a tropical system. I'm not going to go there quite yet. We're going to go step by step with this situation as a whole. First things first, let's look at the cause of this. Taking a look at our current jet stream graphic, we can see we have a lot of convection and energy going on and basically buckling right over the West Virginia, Carolina area. And you're also going to notice almost a separate jet stream down to the south. In order to orient ourselves, I'm bringing us to the end of the COD data, and we can visibly see the eastern edge of the jet stream wall, which then, if you use your imagination, kind of buckles up this way. But as I said, there's almost a double jet stream going on here. We have another one that's dipping straight down the western half of the U.S. and then kind of converging over the Baja, Mexico, now Texas. And in turn, if we back up a little bit and then move forward, we can see that this bottom flow is the direct result of why we're seeing these storms popping off in the Gulf right now. 2 totally separate situations taking place, the Gulf moisture and then the west coast of Canada moisture. And now that we have that set up, I can go ahead and explain to you how this is all going to play a part in our very near future. As you could see by January 14th, even sooner than that, if we backtrack, we could see that those current storms going on in the Gulf eventually will produce a low pressure system that flows over central Florida. And then as we move into the 13th and 14th, it becomes its own low pressure system. We can see here we have a big dip in the jet stream moving down all the way to the panhandle of Florida, it seems, by the time that this low pressure system is out here. So that alone will almost guarantee that this will be forced off the coast of Florida and pushed out to the east a little bit before making a hook towards the north. As we move forward in time, we could see that that buckle in the jet stream we just showed you kind of picks up underneath this low pressure system and forces it up a little bit faster. And that's going to be the determining factor whether or not this low pressure system affects the northeast or not. So basically, as of this run of the GFS, the centralized area of the low pressure system is going to be off land, but we could see this clear-cut line of snow and ice. And over the last few days, this system has inched closer and closer to the east coast of the U.S. Now, keep in mind, just because it doesn't directly hit areas like Long Island, Connecticut, the immediate northeast, we are still at least going to see effects up in Maine and the eastern parts of Canada. Now, you can already see the second system we're talking about as a big low pressure system with a lot of snow involved with it. If we backtrack this system, we can see that that came directly from this big group of moisture that's flowing into the western half of Canada right now. That's what we established in the beginning of the video. So now you're getting the idea of what I'm talking about here with these two separate systems, two totally different areas with almost two separate jet streams forming over the next 3 to 4 days, and then in turn playing off each other. We have one up here and one right here now. And by the 15th, both of them getting caught up in the rise of the jet stream. So we noticed that in the beginning of this forecast here, we have our jet stream dipping down way towards Florida. We can see it picks up the low pressure system that's expected to come off Florida fairly quickly and move it straight up towards the northeast. And just as that's beginning to happen, and just as we have the lift of the jet stream, we then see the second low pressure system, a much colder low pressure system. Let's not forget that. Both of these systems now being caught within this energy being pulled up. And we also begin to see the amount of snow that is going to be produced by this low pressure. The bottom line is once we do get to that threshold, and the first system of these two we are speaking of gets up towards the upper northeast and Canada, that's exactly when we're going to have the second one being pulled down, already having affected probably 12 states, from the Dakotas all the way through Minnesota, Iowa, underneath the Great Lakes. And now we are looking at a situation where warm air in the Gulf is pulling up towards and meeting the cold air from the down dip. And we all know what happens when we see those things. We usually get a mess of a situation. And we can see here, just as this thing exits the Outer Banks in the Carolinas, we're looking at almost a tropical low pressure system. These isobars being very tight, which means we're going to have a lot of wind. And within this area, we have a little bit of snow and ice all the way down in South Carolina. All right, my friends, and I know that was a lot of detail to throw in one video. I usually don't sit on one screen this long to explain something, but I had a lot of questions about this. And as you can see here, on January 14th is when we're going to see the beginning of these situations. That's in just under 4 days' time. We could see this low pressure system off the eastern coast of Florida, preparing itself to be a significant storm up in the northeast. We'll see how far this teeter-tots to or from the upper east coast. And within the same frame, we already have the next winter storm on the heels of it, flowing down through the Dakotas, Iowa, Minnesota, the Great Lakes, and then down into basically the southeast, where it meets into a warmer collection of air, which in turn may become a tropical-like situation. Heavy winds, waves crashing into the Outer Banks of the Carolinas. And then who knows, we may even see this low-pressure system hook up into the northeast as another nor'easter. My friends, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. For those of you interested in what I talked about in the beginning, the link for that GoFundMe page is in the info box below. And as I said before, anyone who is going to donate to the channel this week, please instead donate to that cause and just say a little prayer for Michael's family in this time of need. Until next time, my friends, shout out to Canada. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye. Stop right there, my friends. If you have not already, click that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Click all and you will get all notifications from this channel. And trust me, you won't be disappointed.